Hey friend, so today we are going to go over the Bearcrawl, and what we're going to do is I'm going to show it to you, I'll demonstrate it, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about why you should do something like this. Okay guys, so I'm about to show you the Bearcrawl. While you're doing these, there's a couple of things I want you to keep in mind. Okay, number one, I want you to focus on really gripping the floor hard, okay? When you do that, that's going to send some signals up into your shoulder to wake those shoulder muscles up, and it's going to help to stabilize your shoulders a little bit more. Number one. Number two, if you look at where the padding is on our hands, right? The padding is kind of out here, right? When you grip the ground, what it does is it creates a little bit of arch through here, and it puts the bulk of the weight out here on those pads. Think of your foot, for example. When your foot is on the ground and you have well-developed arches, all of the pressure sits on the padded parts of your feet, right? It's when that arch starts to fall and we get pressure on parts of the feet that don't necessarily have so much padding that we start to have problems with our feet, our ankles, our knees, hips, on up the chain. Same thing happens here. So when you're on the ground, when you are applying pressure in that bear crawl, squeeze and grip the floor to help keep that arch through here and keep all the weight here on the pad, okay? Ideally, when you're doing this, you want to keep your eyes up on the horizon. That's in a perfect world. However, if you have any kind of restriction through your thoracic spine, tightness in your neck or shoulders, any of that kind of stuff, you may not necessarily be able to get there comfortably. That is okay. Keep your eyes at a level that is comfortable and allows you to perform the exercise pain-free, okay? This is not a game of no pain, no gain. That does not make any sense. Pain is a signal that something is wrong, and if you're hurting while you're doing it wrong, okay? You're approaching exercise from the wrong perspective. So, again, perfect world, eyes will be up on the horizon, but if you can't get there, don't force it, okay? Because what will happen is you'll wake up the next day with a sore neck, and that's not what we're looking for, okay? Last thing with the crawl. I'm going to demonstrate it using this guy, and I'm going to put this right in the small of my back. Why would I do that? I'm going to do that because this tells on me if my form starts to break apart, or if I start to get what we call the sassy hips, where the hips are really kind of slopping back and forth. This is going to tell on me if I'm not doing a good job stabilizing my trunk. Okay, so just a couple of things to keep in mind as you're doing your crawl. Okay, so that is the bear crawl. So why would you do an exercise like this? What are the benefits, right? Well, the first benefit, and I think probably the real big benefit, is that it ties us together. What do I mean by that? Well, if you've listened to or watched any of my other videos, you've heard me at some point talk about building your X. And what I mean there is the way that we're designed. Your left shoulder is designed to work with your right hip, and your right shoulder is designed to work with your left hip. That's how we get from point A to point B. That's how we walk, that's how we run, that's how we sprint, skip, jog. That's how it gets done. The bear crawl, or any of the crawl variations, will honor that and build that system. Why would you need to do something like this? Well, the reality of it is that as children, we start earning the right to move really well through a developmental sequence that eventually sees us going from lying on the ground as an infant to pulling ourselves up, standing, and then running as a child. And there's a lot of strength that gets gained in the process of that. Unfortunately, the way that our culture is designed now, once we get to about kindergarten or first grade, we get sat down into a chair and we start to lose some of those abilities gradually over time. So that by the time we get into our 40s, 50s, and 60s, a lot of those abilities have just kind of vanished. The Bearcrawl helps us to reconnect to that. Okay, so at its heart, the crawling as an exercise is a way to reestablish good fundamental human movement. So that's benefit number one. But maybe you're not interested in any of that. Maybe that's not really why you're exercising. Let's talk about some of the other benefits here. Crawling will make you stronger in all of your other exercises. Your presses, your squats, your pulls, because you are tied together better. You're going to function better in all of those other exercises. So it's a great foundation to build some of your other bigger lifts off of. It's a great way to get stronger by itself. I have gone through periods of time where I didn't do any traditional lifting. Crawling was kind of the spine or the backbone of what I was doing. And when I came back to those traditional lifts, in some cases I was stronger, and in some cases I had just kind of maintained status quo. So there's value in the crawling all on its own as a strength builder. And I think the last thing and this is very underrated, honestly, is it's a great exercise for conditioning, because if you stay down there and you keep your butt down and you keep your eyes up and you keep moving and you hold yourself in a good postural position in the crawl, your heart rate is going to start to climb and you're going to get a great caloric burn out of it in the process. So big picture, why do we crawl? We crawl because it helps us to move better. It helps us to reestablish the fundamentals of how we move. It helps us to get stronger, and it'll burn a truckload of calories and help you get leaner. So give it a shot and let me know how it goes.